it's Pam Williams. We're in beautiful downtown Florence with George Soriano and Julio Fernández of Sibú Chocolate. We're at the end of our master program in Tuscany and talking about our favorite thing, chocolate. To find your way into this crazy chocolate world of ours?
We started our adventure with chocolate about 7 years ago. I was working as a tour guide, although by profession I'm an historian, and George was working for the same company as a marketing director. And on one occasion, as I was giving a history lecture on history of Central America to a group of tourists visiting Costa Rica, I was talking about how in Costa Rica we produce coffee, bananas, cattle, and now pineapples, but that most of the products that we were producing were not native of our country. And someone in the audience asked me, so what is native to Costa Rica? And I said, so many things. We have vanilla, and we have cacao, and we have...
That was kind of my eureka moment. I was like, cacao, what's going on with cacao? Why can't you get good chocolate? Whatever happened to that industry? And that really took us on, this quest, to find out what was going on in the industry, what cacao plantations existed, what was the cultural story tied to cacao. And what we learned, was so fascinating. Every time we would go on a trip and we would visit a plantation or an indigenous reserve, we would learn more, and we would become more and more fascinated by the cacao story. And that led us into chocolate.
Yeah, we started buying books and we started trying chocolates from all over the world, and suddenly after 3 or 4 years of just reading and tasting cacao and gaining a lot of weight, we started realizing that we were just wasting our time if we didn't do something important. And both George and I are, before being chocolatier and before anything, we were environmentalists. So we thought that it was really important to revive the cacao industry in Costa Rica. Cacao is a wonderful crop because it grows in the shade of other trees. So we thought that if we could stimulate the growth of the cultivation of cacao in our country, and not only in Costa Rica but all over Central America, we would be helping to develop biological corridors throughout the region and also generating better jobs for a lot of people.
But who knows about cacao? There's a whole chocolate industry, and most people who work in it don't know anything about cacao. So who cares? And we thought the only way that we could make people care about the cacao story and what it means to a small country like Costa Rica or a region such as Central America was making world-class quality chocolate. And that's when we started learning through Ecole Chocolat, taking classes, studying with the Ecole du Grand Chocolat in Valrhona through Ecole Chocolat. And we began searching for the source and finding a way to make it all happen in the country. Because we had this great cacao coming out of Costa Rica, but it was all exported. And we wanted to be the first to try to keep it, some of it, in the country and make the best or fine chocolate, dark chocolate, with that cacao. Nobody had done that before.
The first thing we did was we took the professional chocolatier program online, and once that we were able to kind of master the knowledge, we realized that we needed a lot of practice. So we took the program in Valrhona for the Maître Chocolatier program, and this was really important. We came back to Costa Rica, and in the kitchen we started making chocolate by ourselves. But it was still not enough. Fortunately, we have been finding people through the connections of Ecole Chocolat that have been giving us a lot of tips and hints. And as we have been, a lot of inspiration. And as we get to know more and more people through Ecole Chocolat, we get to exchange a lot of ideas and a lot of secrets, which are no longer secrets.
So that's really where we began. We then had to take it further. We designed or applied pre-Columbian designs to our chocolate pieces. These are native designs that were sort of forgotten by the country. We applied local flavors in innovative ways to get people excited about what they were trying. We, only used organic single plantation cacao, which was a non-negotiable for us.
We didn't just want to make a Swiss chocolate or a French chocolate or an Italian chocolate in Costa Rica. We wanted to make a Costa Rican chocolate using Costa Rican cacao. When we took the name Sibú for our chocolates, actually we didn't want just a brand name, but we wanted something that reflected the history and the permanence of cacao in our land. And we made this chocolate, which is, Sibú was the creator god of the Indians of Costa Rica. And we made this chocolate precisely thinking, okay, what is a Costa Rican? Costa Ricans are a blend. We are a mixture of many origins. On one hand, we are Spaniards, Indians, blacks, and Chinese who came, and we have coexisted peacefully in our land. So we came up with a chocolate that we would be able to put everything together. And we said, so what is a Costa Rican? And we thought the cacao was the contribution of the Indians. And we filled it with a caramel that's made of sugar that the Spaniards brought to our land. And we added ginger, which makes me think of the Oriental contribution. And then we, instead of putting milk, we put coconut milk. So here we are simply synthesizing what a Costa Rican is. We are a blend of every race in the world.
Thank you guys so much for sharing. We really appreciate it.
No, thank you. It's been a pleasure. And hopefully, we'll be seeing the viewers in Costa Rica on the next cacao adventure. That would be nice.
It's just
and
been great fun.
We could talk more, actually. You'll have to shut us up. We can talk about cacao for days.